Waking up from a dream, our main girl of the film named Tessa is seen packing her room to leave for college. She is joined by her mother, Carol, and her mother-approved boyfriend, Noah, in the kitchen downstairs. Her mother is listing off items that she thinks Tessa will need. The next scene shows them driving through various city settings until they get to her new university. Carol, Noah, and Tessa make their way through the crowded dorm halls, looking for her new room B22. They open the door and are met by loud music and two girls sitting on the bed. Tessa introduces herself to her new roommate Steph, who is vaping. Steph introduces Tessa to Tristan. Steph remarks about being unsure about having a freshman roommate. Tristan says that they can get Tessa into all the best places even without a fake ID. Carol leaves the room upset and demands that they ask for a room change since the room is reeked of weed. She doesn't want these girls to distract Tessa from her schoolwork, that she is responsible and that it won't be an issue. She says goodbye to both Noah and her mom. Tessa leaves her dorm early in the morning and heads to her first class across campus. She meets Landon outside a locked classroom. They are the first students to arrive. A professor comes by shortly and opens the door for them. Later that day, Tessa takes a shower in the dorm. While showering, her clothes fall on the ground and get wet. What a poor soul. She returns to her room in her towel and opens the closet door. As she looks in the mirror, she gets startled to see the reflection of a boy sitting behind her. As virgin as Mary, Tessa has never encountered a man like this. Stuttering, she tells him she thinks he is in the wrong room. Though she could smack him and tell him to get out of the room, she is way too polite to be doing that. Trying to act smart, the boy tells her he is in fact in the right place as he barely breaks his concentration from the book he is reading. She then asks him how he got in, and he holds up a set of keys. She asks him to leave so that she can get dressed, but he tells her not to flatter herself because he's not even looking at her. Steph finally shows up and sits down on the bed with him. Tessa asks Steph to have her BF leave the room, to which Steph replies that he is not her BF and asks the boy what he had been saying to her to make her think that. The boy makes a snide comment about not being able to see her as the partying type. Tessa decides not to go. Just as the boy is about to go out the door, he hands the book he was reading back to Tessa. He says that The Great Gatsby is a wonderful book, and he hates to spoil it for her, but it was all a dream. Tessa corrects him and says that actually, it was all a lie. The boy smirks at her and leaves the room. The next day, Tessa is shown at a campus coffee shop studying. A trio walks in. As the trio orders drinks, Tessa makes sure to stare the boy in the eye. The boy also catches her glimpse and passes on a notorious smile. They briefly stare at each other, and he turns and walks out with his friends. Tessa goes to the library to study. She is interrupted by Steph, who tells her that they are going to a party that night, to which Tessa agrees. Steph helps Tessa pick out her party outfit, and she settles on a maroon dress. They make their way into the frat party. As soon as they enter, Steph meets up with Tristan in the kitchen and starts smooching her. This seems to shock Tessa slightly. They head into the living room where a group of friends lay on the couch. Steph introduces Tessa to her friends. There is Zed, Jace the townie, Molly, and the rude boy Hardin. Molly and Hardin are lying with each other on the couch and touching and kissing each other. Zed inquires about Tessa's majors, where Jace offers Tessa a drink, which she initially refuses, but takes a swig after Molly makes fun of her. Molly suggests that they play a game of truth or dare, believing it to be a kid's game. Tessa has no idea about what is going to happen. Jace asks Tessa truth or dare, to which she chooses truth. Molly asks her what is the craziest place she ever had sex was. Tessa gets noticeably uncomfortable and asks to pass, but Molly picks up on it. She begins asking Tessa if she is a virgin. Tessa does not want to answer that either, so she asks for a dare. Jace dares Tessa to make out with Hardin. Hardin slowly gets up from a couch and walks over to her. Uh-oh, we all know where that is going. As kids these days film everything, Molly starts filming the encounter on her phone too, thinking of revalidation and staring into Hardin's eyes. Tessa announces she's done playing the game and walks off. Hardin seems shocked by this, and the group teases Hardin about this being his first rejection. Ouch. Walking through the front porch, Tessa misses Noah and decides to call and catch up with him. She talks to Noah about her current whereabouts, which don't end well. Noah doesn't like the fact she's partying and drinking with other dudes. She hangs up on him and heads back inside. She makes her way up the staircase and begins to read one of the books from the bookshelf, where she is startled by Hardin, who asks her what she is doing. She asks him if he is drunk, to which he says he doesn't drink like her. Making her embarrassed, Hardin then asks what she is doing in his room. He grabs hold of the book, runs it up her inner thigh using it to lift her dress slightly, and leans into her. He asks if they are still playing because she owes him a dare. They almost kiss before Tessa stops herself and leaves. We legit thought something was going to happen. Following the next scene, Tessa makes her way into a class and looks for a spot to sit. She sees Molly and Zed in the crowd and avoids them. After seeing their true colors, who wouldn't? She finds Landon in the front and joins him. Hardin makes his way into the classroom and sits just as Professor Soto begins talking about the book Pride and Prejudice. After getting into a steamy debate with Hardin regarding the novel, Tessa storms out of the class, which is dismissed by the professor. Well, deep down, we all are praying for them to get into a relationship, aren't we? After the class, Tessa joins Landon, who reveals to her that he and Hardin are soon to become stepbrothers, with his mother engaged to Hardin's father. Yikes. That was unexpected and unfortunate. Anyways, it doesn't take long for Hardin to interrupt Landon and Tessa. Following the class debate, Hardin forcefully gets Tessa to start over their friendship and invites her to a nearby lake. While they swim, Hardin kisses Tessa, saying that they cannot remain only friends. Later, the two encounter Molly and Zed at a diner. The following day, Tessa promises to tell her boyfriend, Noah, about the kiss she shared with Hardin. Hardin tells her not to do so, saying that he does not date, disappointing Tessa. On the other hand, Noah shows up out of nowhere and surprises Tessa with a visit. The two experience an evening together around a bonfire. In a game of suck and blow at the bonfire party, Jace purposely fails to kiss Tessa, making Hardin jealous and leading to a physical confrontation. While Noah sleeps in Tessa's bed after the party, she leaves to check in on Hardin, who has destroyed the house in a drunken rage. She comforts him and the two kiss. The next day, Tessa returns to her dorm to check on Noah, who discovers her affair with Hardin and leaves her, heartbroken. Poor Tessa, what has she gotten herself into? However, Tessa feels as if a burden has been lifted and that she can openly date Hardin without the guilt of cheating on Noah. Tessa and Hardin finally decide to date, but her mother threatens to cut her off financially if she continues the relationship, believing Hardin to be a bad influence on her. So Hardin finds an apartment for the two to live together, and they attend his father's wedding reception. Then things take a dark shift when Hardin reveals that his mother was assaulted by some men, which were provoked by his drunkard father. Tessa comforts him and the two head back to their apartment. With a slight change in the moods, both end up getting laid. Tessa finally loses her virginity. Well, that was sad, because we all thought Noah was going to be the one, but alas. Later, Tessa finds out about some texts and grows concerned about the text messages sent to Hardin by Molly. Tessa attempts to confront him, but he dismisses her and leaves. After leaving the apartment searching for him, Tessa finds him at a diner with Molly, Zed, Steph. Molly cruelly reveals Hardin's true intentions by showing Tessa a video from the first party they attended, telling her that Hardin only pursued Tessa as a challenge, intending to make her fall in love with him before breaking her heart. Hardin attempts to convince Tessa that his intentions changed as he got to know her, but Tessa ends their relationship. That's really heartbreaking. But we can't say we never saw that coming from Hardin. Heartbroken, Tessa returns home to reconcile with her mother and Noah, who both forgive her. In the weeks that follow, Tessa cuts ties with Stake and her group of friends, eventually interviewing for an internship at Vance Publishing. Before she leaves college at the end of the semester, Tessa's lecturer, Professor Soto, hands her an essay written by Hardin. The essay was his confession of his love for Tessa. After reading it, Tessa returns to the lake to meet Hardin. Oh, not again. Here, the film ends and the story continues in the next sequels, After We Collided. With all that being said, the film delivered the right amount of drama and steamy romance, which was desperately needed after the first part. Unlike its first chapter, the storyline revealed more shocking plot twists and picked up its pace.
Thanks for watching the recap. Kindly subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post the next recap.